The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
News Talk Online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users, on demand on iTunes and on YouTube, and on my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you are encouraged to post your comments, whether you agree with yours truly or not. And thanks to our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we're syndicated to an additional 12 million households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. Welcome to the show. Well, some interesting developments in the Korean or on the Korean Peninsula. And as those of you who are regulars to the show know, there are some stories that get a lot of coverage in the news media. Some stories seem to be under the radar. This one has been under the radar for some time, and we're going to elevate it to a story of import today. The Associated Press reports from Seoul today that North Korea's apparent preparations for a ballistic missile test, reportedly detected by South Korean officials monitoring a train headed to the launch site, appear to be the country's latest attempt to get President Barack Obama's attention. A South Korean official today confirmed the preparations, first reported by Japanese and South Korean media, citing sources as saying the missile had the potential to reach the western United States. Not to, by the way, open up the discussion to an issue of Israel and Gaza, but I'm wondering if they start firing missiles into the western United States, whether they kill people or not, whether the United States will sit back with their hands on their butts on their hands and do nothing, or would there be a disproportionate response? By the way, there's another issue that we have to combine with all this, because we really don't know what the long-term intent, even the short-term intent of North Korea is, because Kim Jong's health remains uncertain. His longevity remains uncertain. So there's a potential for instability when he leaves office, probably by way of leaving feet first when he dies. May not be today, may not be tomorrow, may not be in a year or 2 years. But just like in Cuba, when there was no indication of a transition before Fidel turned over the reins to Raul, his brother, the question is what will happen to that dynasty that has been controlling North Korea for so long. Now, the Korea Herald has a great analysis of the whole situation, the relationship between the United States and North Korea. Hwang Ji-hwan, who is an assistant professor of North Korean studies at Myongji University, writes in part in today's Korea.
Gary, we lost your audio. Okay, one more time, Gary. We lost your audio. Let's see if we can get you back real quick.
Here to help put this all in perspective, to let us know whether this is just saber rattling or whether we really need to be concerned about an unstable North Korea, and is that potentially bad news? Is it potentially doom and gloom that North Korea is flexing its military muscle and might even go so far as to attack its neighbors or even the western United States? Or, as this analyst in South Korea suggests, maybe it is good news in the long run, because there is hope that the Obama administration may be able to make inroads with North Korea, where the previous two administrations did not, is Craig Eisendrath. He is a senior fellow at the Center for International Policy and an adjunct professor at Temple University. He served as a U.S. Foreign Service officer with the Department of State, a college dean and executive director of the Pennsylvania Humanities Council, and was a co-founder of the National Constitution Center. Craig Eisendrath, welcome back to News Talk Online on Paltalk.com.
Well, thank you very much.
Always a pleasure having you here, sir. And so tell me, when we get these kinds of dispatches, how do we analyze them? Is there cause for concern with regard to North Korea, or is there cause for optimism with regard to the Obama administration's ability to perhaps thaw the frozen relationship between us and them, and perhaps by extension, North and South Korea?
Well, one thing is we don't totally have surety that the North Koreans have the missile capacity with their Taepodong, enhanced Taepodong missile to hit the western part of the United States. That's still a bit speculative. I mean, the story that you've got about the train and so forth is correct, but we're not sure what the capabilities of that missile would be. We do know that they can hit certainly, they can certainly hit Hawaii. There's no problem with that for them. Now, what is not clear at all is this. We don't think at this moment that their missiles can launch nuclear weapons. That is, we do not think that they have refined their nuclear weapons to the point that it can fit on a rocket, so that there is no immediate nuclear threat against the United States.
Well, whether it's nuclear or whether it is conventional weapons, and whether we talk about the United States, let's not look at this from a narrow perspective. Let's broaden it a little bit. Certainly, South Korea has reason to be concerned about whatever military prowess North Korea has, and we know already that Japan is very much concerned because they have fired missiles, test missiles, over Japanese territory out into the sea. I mean, one of those missiles could prematurely land on Tokyo or some other area of Japan, which, as we all know, is an extremely highly densely populated island, and this could cause a real crisis.
I think it's interesting that in both Japan and in South Korea, we have pretty tough administrations. The Prime Minister right now, Taro Aso, in Japan, is really not interested in going on with the six-party talks, which would, involving the North Korean missile and nuclear capability. Interestingly enough, in South Korea, we have a President, Lee Myung-bak, also